All right, let's get this started. Welcome, I'm your host, Calvin Leduc. I'm the head of faculty for VANAS, the Vancouver Animation School. I'm also one of the instructors. I've been with the school for 12 years now, and let me talk a little bit about myself so you know who I am. I originally wanted to be an animator, so I went to school for several years. I learned how to become a 2D animator. At that time, there was no computer animation being taught in schools. My first job was up in Ottawa. I worked on the Raccoon television series for a few episodes. I was promoted. I started working on their Christmas specials. And I decided I wanted to do better. So I went to Montreal and worked on commercials. I wanted the challenge of the different styles. I did that for a year. And then I wanted better quality. So I went down to California and worked on the first Alvin and the Chipmunk feature. And at that time, there was no internet. You found out about jobs by people telling you about them or reading about them. And I read in the Hollywood Reporter that Disney was going to do a 40 style feature animated film. So I went to London, England, and worked on the first Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Then I proceeded to go to Munich in Germany, worked on a feature there for a year. I was invited back by Steven Spielberg to work on his second American Tail feature film. I then went to California and worked for Dale Bear, who did the Toontown section of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I did commercials with him for a few years, became a permanent resident, and later I became a dual citizen between Canada and the United States. I worked for Rick Rich on the first Swan Princess. Disney Feature Animation called me up and asked if I'd return and work for them, and I said yes. Whenever you get the offer to work for Disney, the correct answer is yes. I worked on Pocahontas, doing both the Miko the raccoon and Percy the dog. I worked on Hercules, doing Pegasus the winged horse. I worked on the gargoyles for Hunchback of Notre Dame. What else did I work on? I did Yzma, the crazy old lady in Emperor's New Groove. Fantasia 2000, I worked on some of those sequences. Tarzan, I worked on Turk, the gorilla, Tarzan's friend. Treasure Planet, I worked on Billy Bones and all of Long John Silver. At that time, they were switching from 2D to 3D, so I retrained at Disney on how to do computer animation using version 1 of Maya. And then my first job was working for Sony down in San Diego, and I worked on a Neopets animated video game, doing the cutscenes, the cinematics. My first feature film in 3D computer animation was working on The Barnyard. And I decided to come up here to Vancouver, and that's where we're located. We're an online digital animation school. So you can take your classes anywhere in the world, and your teachers can be anywhere in the world. And that way I can hire the best instructors I can find, which is good for you guys. I ran a school up here for several years. I was a contract instructor for several years, and I also worked for VANAS. I went down and worked for a couple of years at a polytechnical institute, teaching students how to do computer animation. And then I returned to Vancouver. And Mario invited me back to work for the Vancouver Animation School. I was a teacher, and for the last, it has to be 8 years now, I've been head of faculty. So I have the pleasure to be involved in creating courses, recording courses, hiring new instructors. Okay, let's look at, because we have something great here. And you can go to IMDb if you want to check out all my credits in here. Our new platform, right? This is our fourth generation platform, our fourth platform. It's been all recreated, and this is our new website. You can see all of our courses listed. We start with just 2 courses, 3D computer animation and concept art. And concept art is creating the designs for everything. And over the last 12 years, we're up to 11 diploma courses. Each diploma course is 1 year in duration, divided up into 4 terms. Each term is 3 months long. And I'll show you our students' work in a second. After I finish talking about the school, I'll open it up for some questions from you guys. This new platform is great. It's really simple to navigate. Up here, you can go to the left to apply. You can schedule a call at the top, in the middle, and for our students and instructors, we log in just by clicking on the button on the far right. All right. We only offer courses where there's jobs, right? There's so much work in 2D computer animation that the studios came to us and said, please help us. You know, we thought there was plenty of schools here, but they said, please help us to, you know, teach more 2D animators. And we said, yeah, help us design the course, find instructors, good instructors, and we'll offer the course. And that's what we did. Quite literally, we have some really great instructors. One of our instructors has his own studio, so he knows the entire production pipeline from beginning to end. And, you know, that's what you want. Someone that knows every facet, every step. You can see in here, synopsis of what the course is, how long it is, how many hours you work per week. You can go in and see that what's happening in each of the 4 terms. You know, you're learning the basics, the principles in the first term. You're learning locomotion in the second term, which is walks and animal walks and human walks. Third term, you're getting into pantomime, which is acting without dialogue. And last term, you're doing dialogue and acting between 2 characters. Software we're using, we tend to use free software. For this one course, we're using Adobe Animate, which used to be called Flash. And that's subscription-based. Okay, so I'm just going to pull up a couple examples. You're learning 2 styles of animation for 2D animation. You're using rig-based, and this is a rig we give you. And here, when you're doing walks, you learn to do an animal walk as well, which is very important, guys. And the other style besides rig is hand-drawn. So both styles are used in the industry. The most 2D animation in North America is actually done here in Vancouver, but there are, you know, our studios all over the world. We teach you how to design the characters, how to model them, how to rig them, and how to animate them. So the owner of the school comes from 3D computer animation, and that's why we have this as one of our first courses. It's the same idea as 2D animation. You're doing 4 terms. I'm one of the instructors for this course. I come from Disney Feature Animation. We have other people that are supervisors for local studios. Let's take a look at some of the students' work. You're learning how to do walks, which is very important. All your characters have to be able to walk. You're learning how to do animals. It's not restrictive. If you want to do a cat, if you want to do a dog, if you want to do a horse, you pick the animal you want to do, and that's what you get to do. Pantomime. This was done by a great student. And again, they come from South America, Mexico, the States, Canada, Europe, Africa. It's great to be able to teach these skills to students all around the world, right? Okay, besides pantomime, you're doing acting, 2 characters, dialogue. We often get students that already work in the animation industry, and they come to improve their skill level, right? Because they want to move up. They want to start working on feature films. I think I have one more piece of 3D animation here, and it is, the style is totally up to you. It's very cartoony, this piece. You know, rubber hose, lots of stretch and squash. Okay. We have this great course, animated short films. Now, to be eligible for this, actually for any of our courses, you have to have a portfolio. Show us 5 pieces of artwork. Show us that you actually have some skill, some talent, some interest in being an artist, a digital artist. And if your portfolio passes the review board, you're permitted to go into a 1-year diploma course. If you don't have a portfolio, then it's a requirement to go into what we call our Introduction to Digital Arts. It's 3 months long, and it's a sampler platter. You do a couple weeks of concept, a couple weeks of modeling, computer modeling, 2 weeks of 2D animation, 2 weeks of 3D animation, effects, and gaming. You get to see, do you like to do online classes? Do you like to work in the digital arts? So successfully passing the intro to digital arts, you can then take one of our diploma courses. Now, the animated short film course, the requirement for that is you already have to have either done our computer animation courses, one or the other, 2D or 3D, or you study somewhere else for a minimum of 1 year, or you've worked professionally in the industry. Show us that you know how to animate, and you can come and do the animated short film course. I love what our students do. My first student through that course won 7 animation festival awards, so I was really impressed with that. This is an example of one of my really early students. I'm not certain where the flashing's coming from. Let me try and open that again. Okay, and that has to. Okay, it should play this time. So it was done by Logan Hogg, and he was one of my first animation students that I taught at the school over 10 years ago. And he came back last year, and he wanted to make his own short film. So he used a rig he found online, and he did everything else: modeling, coloring, texturing, lighting, rendering. He had a great time doing this too. What else do I have for a short film? I have different styles I want you to see because it's not just one thing here. This I wanted to show. It's a short film in production right at the moment. This is all hand-drawn computer animation. What I love about animation is you create your own world, right? It's not reality. You get to create your appealing character designs, your environments. You're doing the camera work. If you want to do it in a different software, that's fine. Now, the way we structure our school and our classes is you are getting in the middle of the week a lecture demonstration class from your instructor, and they show you how to do the assignment. Then you submit the assignment on Sunday, and then the beginning of the week, usually Monday or Tuesday, you'll get a live 1-hour review class. So you're getting 2 live classes, which is great because you get to ask questions in real time and get the answers immediately. We also have help sessions during the week. We have one with an instructor that teaches you more about Adobe Animate. We have one that instructs students more about Photoshop. We have one for Maya. Maya is the industry standard for 3D computer animation. I teach 2 homework help sessions. So you have any questions about what's happening at the school or your course, jump in and ask me. Okay. And the last one I wanted to show a little bit of is this one where it's 2D also, but the student created their own rigs and worked with rigs to animate the characters. I like the worm. Okay. We get students that are retired. We get students that are mature. Like I said, we get industry professionals. I've often taught people that did one job in a studio and want to learn how to do a different, change their career. And that's what creatives do. They don't stick at one thing for their entire life. We were one of the first schools to offer concept art as a diploma course. And people often ask me, what is concept art? You don't get anything for free in an animation studio. Everything has to be created, designed, right? Just move this over for a sec. You have to design the characters. You have to design their costumes. You have to figure out the color, figure out what the environments are, the different seasons, the different times of day, the color schemes. When you're working on video games, you got to come up with the different levels that you're playing through. You are working with perspective, you're working tonally, and then you're adding color, shadow, light. You're coming up with, like I said, down at the bottom, different color schemes. You know, is it exciting? Is it romantic? Is it scary? What time of day is it? In a studio, you're working as a team. So often concept people have to come up with blueprints for other people to draw their environments from different angles. You're designing vehicles, whether they're futuristic, historic, ships, weapons. What does the energy look like coming out of a weapon? Costumes, housing, anything you can think of has to be designed. Weapons, tools. You're doing a look and feel, right? This person works in the industry now as an art director. You have to come up with the character, the environment that they're going to be in, their tools, the implements, the food, the flame, the smoke. Everything has to be designed by somebody. We're teaching you how to do realistic drawing, which is important. If you can draw realistically, you can draw anything. So you're coming up with fantasy characters. You're doing a little bit of modeling in concept art. You're doing rough sketches, modeling, adding color and texture. You're learning to think in terms of silhouettes. If you can easily identify a character as a silhouette, that's the best design. Vehicles, again, spaceships, creatures. You're doing some matte painting. You're inserting elements that you designed into photographs. Whether it's an animal, whether it's a character, whether it's anthropomorphic, you know, two-legged animals. Model sheets, expressions, fantasy. I'll be answering the questions at the end of the presentation. Okay, so this is a new course we have, production management. You tend not to see this course. It's really important. I went around a couple of years ago to all the big studios when we were at conventions and said, you know, we want to do this course. And they said, oh, you can't teach that. And actually, yes, we're very good at teaching. And production management, or for the people that want to work in a studio, but they feel that they don't want to be on the creative side, they want to be on the management side. They're coming up with the budgets, the schedules, they're doing the hiring, the planning. This is a one-year course, and it's, again, taught by industry professionals on how to do production management. In 1 year's time, you'll be ready to go into the industry as a production manager. Here's this intro course I was telling you about, Introduction to Digital Arts. Esports. We're not teaching people how to play video games. We're teaching people that want to come up with esports management, putting on the competitions, hiring a team that can do that, how to prepare your team for tournaments. That's what esports management is. Video game design. This course is for students that want to learn how to create video games, right? I've worked at a lot of different colleges, and I find most of them are just teaching students how to model a vehicle or a character. And here you're learning how to create different video games. Some examples. Again, different styles. This one's three-dimensional. I love the simplistic. It's called Zombie Pizza. And this guy has the challenge of delivering pizzas while his town is infested with zombies. So he delivers the pizza, he gets money, he ends up going back into the pizzeria. There he bought a gun. You don't see that every day. He's going out to battle zombies now. The next game I have is very simple and flat. And it's different levels, right? You have this, kind of looks like a pig to me, but he's jumping around collecting coins, trying not to fall. And he's squishing these, I think they're mice. So it's quite a nice design. I think if I have one more example. And this one is, right, a shooter, a first-person shooter. You're going through the maze. And again, you're building all these assets. You're building the gameplay. Very cool. Virtual reality. I think virtual reality, we like to do courses that typically other people aren't offering. And virtual reality to me is something that in the future, it's going to be really big, right? You're building dimensional environments. It is a real application that's being used in the world and in the industry today. For Vancouver, they use it when they want to be repairing our SkyTrains, right? You put on the virtual reality set, you can see where's the area that needs work, what kind of tools, what kind of equipment do I need, and what am I fixing? They use it for building today. You can put on virtual reality and you can see that everything is lining up and it's to scale. It's real life size. When you're walking through the building, does the plumbing connect? Is it in the right area? Is the electricity going in the right place? You know, so it's pretty exciting. We teach you guys how to draw, paint, and animate in virtual reality. Writing for animation is a specialty course, right? People that want to come for 3 months and they want to create a Bible for their own TV series will learn how to do that in our Writing for Animation course. As part of coming to the diploma courses, We also give them free access to VANAS Plus. And I just want to get in there for 1 second, then I'm going to turn it over to questions, and I'll answer some questions. This we created because instructors came to us and said, can you do what you do with your school? It's all online, and do it all recorded. And initially we started for high school students. And a couple of years after that, grade schools said, could you do this for grade school level? And then universities came to us and said, could you do this at an advanced level for people going to college and university to get a job with these skills? And we always said yes. There's 450 courses in here, and every course has 10 lessons in it. And you're learning how to do drawing, Maya, 3D computer animation, concept, rigging, which is putting the controls into a modeled 3D character, Photopea, which is a free version of Photoshop, Procreate, how to use that for portraits, how to do storyboarding, right? And we're using the best instructors we can find. So here is a professional storyboard artist. We have how to direct TV. I didn't learn how to direct when I was in school. And this is taught by a director of television shows. Rigging, two types of rigging, 2D and 3D. The 3D, we have one which is just a instant rig, and the other one is how to build a rig from scratch, building every part of it. Effects courses, compa courses, maquette sculpting courses, which is using synthetic clay. I actually taught this course. I was learning it when I was at Disney Feature Animation. Writing for animation courses, animal drawing courses. You just click on it. You start by hitting there. You can go through and click to any one that you want to actually be looking at. You can jump here. You can watch them anytime. You can start at any point. And here I'm using, we were able to find this great instructor who's American living in Europe, a professor. All right. So you're welcome to contact us at any point for questions. And if we have questions now, please throw them out. Let me get into Q&A, and you can also type them into either the chat or the Q&A panel. I strongly recommend that everybody applying to the school apply for a scholarship, right? The highest amount that scholarships go up to is 20%. They're based on the quality of your portfolio that you're submitting, the amount of experience you have. Could be something as simple as, let me know. Is it all right to start animation course, then turn into game course? Once you've started one of the diploma courses, you have to finish that course. And then by all means, you're allowed to start with the next course that you want to take. We have 4 intakes a year. Right now we're in the spring, the winter, which started in January. The spring term starts in April, the very beginning, I believe it's the 1st of April. Then we have a summer one, starts in July, and we have a fall start, which is September, sometimes the very beginning of October. Thanks for asking. Adobe Animate is used for 2D animation. What we use for 3D animation is Maya. Maya is basically used by over 80% of the world. And the great thing about Maya, it's free. When you're in school, when you're a teacher, when you're a student, Maya's free. So you're learning how to use what the industry uses. If you came and did our short film course, if you want to use something like Blender, which I know a lot of high schools use Blender because it's also free, but doesn't tend to get used by the industry, you can use whatever software you want. I will tell you, I think working in the animation industry is one of the best jobs you can have, right? I remember working on features. You want to be able to, jump out of bed in the morning and enjoy going and working hard and trying to get the most you can into that production, right? I worked on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and it was, oh, I want to get that scene. Oh, I want to work on that sequence. People will know, oh, did the dancing on the bar. Oh, did the back room looking through the spy hole. Oh, did Roger when he's holding his gun, you know, people will remember the projects that you worked on for a long time. What do you need to learn to get a job in 2D animation cleanup? Traditional hand-drawn cleanup doesn't tend to exist in North America. It's a European thing, but in terms of 2D hand-drawn computer animation, that needs to be cleaned up as well. And again, you come, take our course, and you'll learn all these skills, right? You're going to learn how to design your character, model the character, build it, put in the rigging, and animate it. It's all the skills that you need in order to get that first job in the industry. Where can you find Maya? Well, it is owned by Autodesk. So go to the Autodesk site. And if you are a student that is learning digital arts, you can apply for a free copy of Maya. When you come to our school, we have videos that we've recorded that'll show you how to download Maya for free. Are the weekly online classes a set schedule, or do they have any flexibility? We initially asked students what they would prefer for the times of the classes. Most of the time, it's based on the availability of our instructors. All of our instructors work in the industry, right? So if somebody's working from 8 to 6 every day, and they're only available starting at 7, that determines when the class is. 7, 8, 9, right? Most people don't want to work at midnight. Our instructors can be anywhere in the world. So some classes are offered early in the morning because somebody is in Toronto and they can teach a class and they're 3 hours later than us. So our instructors are here on the West Coast of North America and they want to work in their evenings. And we have instructors that are in Europe. I have one in the Philippines. She's a 2D animation instructor. She's a supervisor working at DreamWorks. So yeah, the time is very flexible. What classes would we recommend for beginners in animation and illustration? all of our courses are designed for people that have never done, right? You don't have to be an animator. You don't have to have already done animation in high school. And usually when you're taking classes, you're not being taught by an instructor, right? You really want to get somebody with a lot of experience. I tend to hire people that typically have 10, 20 plus years experience, and you're learning how to do things right. If you learn how to do things wrong, it takes a long time to correct all the mistakes that you were making. Don't worry about software when somebody's asking, what app should I be practicing with? It's just a different pencil, right? Can you draw with a pen, a marker, pencil, chalk? We're teaching you skills. The software, it takes you like a week to learn where the other buttons are, the same buttons that you want to know. Don't worry about software, guys, okay? A lot of studios, you're going to have to use whatever software they tell you to use. You work for TV animation. Well, there's different levels, guys, right? If you want to get into the next category, whether you consider it to be games, specials, feature films, right? I typically consider television to be down at the bottom. You're doing basic animation. You're doing 30 to 45 seconds a week, which is a lot of animation, right? You do more in a week than you probably do in a year when you're a student learning. What you have to learn is how to do quality animation, right? How do I do a realistic walk, not a basic cartoony walk, right? That's being taught. How do I learn how to do quality acting, right? How do I start learning to use proper reference? How do I learn how to shoot and film myself or other people as good reference, right? How do I work with high-end rigs, right? The computer animation characters. Now, somebody's asking, can I do this while I'm in school on weekends and a break? Yeah. That's what our courses are. They're designed that you can take one of these courses while being in school or working, right? I did a BA online while I was working full-time teaching daily computer animation. Classes are 2 classes, right? 1 hour long. The help sessions are an hour long. You can join the help sessions in the evening. You can join them on the weekend. You can watch the videos on how to do the assignments anytime you want, right? You can stop them. You can start them at any time. You can watch them as often as you want. We have our own message board. It's built into our platform, and you can write your instructors anytime you want, and they should be getting back to you within 1 or 2 days, which is great. .2D animation course, it pretty much goes for any of the creative courses, 2D, 3D, concept, modeling, effects. All we need to see is 5 pieces of artwork, whether they're drawings, life drawings, drawing environments, drawing vehicles, animals. Show me that you're creative. Doesn't have to be just drawings. Sculpting, right? Painting. Show me that you have an artistic eye, that you are interested in pursuing the arts. And that would get accepted as a portfolio. What should I begin with in Maya? You want to start learning the principles of animation. You can actually join up for that VANAS Plus I was showing you. It's self-paced. You want to learn how to do creating primitives, basic modeling. How do I do a bouncing ball, right? I think we do have the simple basics of Maya just on YouTube as well, right? You be careful with YouTube though, guys. There are some good free courses and there are some bad free courses, you're right. And like I said, you don't want to learn too many bad habits because it takes a long time to stop using them. You want to learn how to do things the proper way. You first get good and then you get fast. And like I was saying, it won't feel like a job if you're doing what you love, right? And that's why I made a career out of doing animation. I did it for over 20 years professionally, and I've been teaching now additionally for, I'm on my 18th year of teaching it. You know, if you have additional questions, you can contact us at info@vanas.ca. Are there any free 3D animation software? Blender is freeware. And like I was saying, if you're a student, Maya is free for students. I do want to thank everybody for taking their time out. You know, we're all busy on the weekend. It's always a pleasure to be able to tell people about this experience. And I look forward to talking to you guys again. Thanks for coming. Have a great weekend.